today we're starting our fall series, which is going to take us through the end of the year. I have a new desk and to kick us off. So now I've got a trash thing underneath my desk that's in my way. So I'm kicking it over here. So now I'm distracted. Anyways, this will take us through the end of the year. There are going to be some minor changes coming up, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be basically the same. We're just going to swap some things around. I have some personal stuff going on, and we're getting dates scheduled for things coming up. And so as those dates get scheduled, which I really have no say-so over, I just will have to swap some classes around. So just be aware of that. And then our Tuesday classes have moved to 10:30. I was trying to move them earlier in the day, hoping we would have a better turnout. My original anticipation or original goal was the thought process was all of them would be at the same time, but I kind of like the 9 a.m. class, and we can't do 9 a.m. on Tuesdays because the Northern Solano Association of Realtors has their weekly meeting at 9 a.m. And I want to make sure that as agents, y'all can attend that meeting and have time maybe even to preview a house or two before hopping on Zoom. So that's why we're at 10:30 on Tuesdays. If this tends to be a problem, we may try moving this Tuesday time around to find the time that works best for the most number of people. But today we are diving into finding motivated clients. You'll see that our schedule for the fall pretty much has most of the pieces of what Realty One Group calls their Rev Up series, which is a 12-part series. We stretch it out a little bit longer. And September is kind of more buyer focused. October is going to go into goal setting up your 2024 for success. We'll talk about how to do that, why to do that, how to dig in and really figure out what that looks like, how to lay it all out, and then how to implement that so that you can start implementing it come November so you can hit your goals starting in 2024. And then that was October. And then November dives more into like seller focused theme. And then we'll finish up with a few random things in December. There's a couple weeks that we're taking off, like November for Thanksgiving and December coming up to Christmas. So we're not going to run you to the end. However, I will probably run some sort of special series at the end of the year. I usually try to roll that out. So we're kicking it off. All that to say, we're kicking it off with lead generation, the key to success, finding motivated clients. So we're going to dive into this. As always, if you have questions, just unmute yourself. Feel free to ask questions. I do have the chat box up as well, so feel free to throw them in the chat box. And we will just move right along. Hold on. I've got to rearrange my screen because you guys are in my way. Sorry, though. Dun, dun, dun. All right, there. Now I think I can see maybe everything. All right, so today our learning objectives are the lead generation model, the philosophy of lead generation, types of lead gen, and creating a follow-up plan. So we're going to cover all of that today. The lead gen model, right? So it looks like a funnel. Oftentimes you'll hear it called like the lead gen funnel. The idea is that at the top, it's really big, right? Like a funnel, in case you've never seen a funnel, it's big at the top, small at the bottom. In the beginning, we're going to throw all sorts of leads in there. Anybody we come across that we think might have anything to do with real estate anytime in their life, right? So that just about puts every person you run into can go into the top of your lead gen funnel. If you have a farm, all of the homeowners in that farm could go in there. If you can track down the renters' names for the non-owner occupied homes, they go in there. Everybody that's in this little thing right here that we call your phone, everybody that's in there should go into your lead generation funnel. They all belong in that funnel. And if you're like, Amy, what do you mean by funnel? Like, should I have a big funnel, like at the thing, you throw the penny in and it spins in circles? No, not that type of funnel, but have a CRM, right? So whether you're using Boomtown, whether you're using the OneSuite, whether you have your own CRM, put all of those leads into your CRM. Your contact relationship manager is what CRM stands for, contact relationship manager. It may be a Rolodex, it may be a spreadsheet, it may be digital, whatever you use, find something that works, but please do not use these little things right here. It's a really far reach now, called sticky notes. Please don't have a desk covered in sticky notes with all your leads. They will get lost. You will forget to follow up with them. You will be sad, I promise. Okay, so have some sort of lead generation system and some sort of CRM, contact relationship manager. From those leads, we're going to sort them out to who might actually be prospects. And then we're going to funnel those down further as we get a little more narrow to the clients that are actually going to do business with us. And then we have our post-sale follow-up. And then you know what happens is those leads actually go post-sale and then they cycle back to the beginning with the anticipation of bringing more business. Does anybody have questions about how the lead generation model works? All right. Moving right along. The philosophy of lead generation is feed your database. Feed it, feed it, feed it, right? We're always got to be growing our database. We're going to talk about our 5 legs of lead generation. You should always be generating new leads. We'll talk about the fact that you should have 5 methods to do that. We're going to talk about how we move them from captured to connected. And then we're going to repeat, right? So we're going to feed it with our 5 legs of lead generation. Then we're going to take all those leads and we're going to move them from what we call captured to connected. If you're like, Amy, what does that mean? All right, captured, right? So think of it this way. This is my favorite example. Don't even ask me how I came up with this. I have no idea. But a captured lead is like a zoo animal. It's been captured. You may even know the zoo animal's name, but the zoo animal may not know you. And the zoo animal is probably not going to come when called, right? They're trapped in there, but they may not respond kindly to you calling them or interacting with them at all, right? So that is a captured lead. Connected would be like your pet. Imagine a pet dog. You call your dog. 95% of the time they're going to come to you. Sometimes they're just going to ignore you, but most of the time they're going to come to you. They probably know who you are. They may even get excited when they see you, right? Captured versus connected. So our captured lead is, man, a lead passed through the open house. We've got their information. We've got their name. We've got their phone number. We've got their email address. We know how to get in touch with them, but they may not remember who we are. They may not pick up their phone when called, right? So that would be captured. Our goal is that we're going to move them from captured to connected. So through a series of interactions, purposeful interactions, that we're going to move them from that captured status into connected, where they begin recognizing our name. They may even respond to our text messages or our phone calls. They may interact with us via email. Hopefully they don't block us, but that's all right. If they do block you, at least you got your point across that you're trying to stay in constant communication with them, enough to the fact that you annoyed them and they blocked you. And then we're going to repeat, right? Repeat, just rinse and repeat. Okay, so that's our philosophy of lead generation. We want to feed the beast, right? Feed that lead gen. So we want to make sure that we schedule time in our days, and we do that mostly with time blocking. We're going to dive more into time blocking in October, how to do that successfully. But you want to protect that lead generation time, right? So we're going to put it on our calendar and we're going to block it out. When we're in lead generation mode, we are not doing other things. We are not distracted. If our lead generation today is making phone calls, we are not getting distracted with other emails and text messages and our social media in the middle of lead generation time. If your lead gen is knocking on doors, that's your focus. We are in the game. We are ready to go. We are knocking on those doors, having conversations with people. Same thing with open houses, right? We're not distracted by what might be happening on our phone as people walk into our open house. We're ready to have those conversations, track those people down, capture their information, and feed the beast. The goal is you want to be adding 3 to 10 peoples, I like how I said that, peoples, to your database every day. Okay, or 15 to 50 people per week. The assumption there is that you should actually take days off. Please take days off. Please make sure that's on your calendar. Take time off and spend time rejuvenating. So it's not going to be 21 to 70 people per week. It's 15 to 50. If you're on the low end of adding 3 people to your database every week, it's going to be 15 total. And if you're on the higher end of 10 per day, then it's going to be 50 people per week. Okay. A valid contact should have a name, an email, and a phone number. Okay. A name, an email, and a phone number would be a valid contact. Any questions so far? All right. Our 5 legs of lead gen. There's only 3 on the screen. We're going to dive into the other 2 here in a minute. But our number 1 form of lead generation, where you're going to have the most success, more than likely, is your existing database, right? Or those existing names in your phone, your existing contacts on your social media, those people who already know you, love you, and trust you, right? Or at least they recognize you. Those are who you're going to dive into first, because you've already crossed the first hurdle of getting them to respond and know who you are. Okay. So lead generation number 1 is always your existing database. Lead generation number 2 is going to be leads from listings. As we have our own listings, we are going to generate additional leads. So you will hear me talk about the fact that you should be listing focused, right? And what does that mean? You want at least 50% of your business to come from listings. And the reason we say that is listings take a lot less effort. They take a lot less time, right? If we have a listing, it's one house. We may go visit that house. We may give staging suggestions. We may help them get it ready for sale. Hopefully not physically helping get it ready for sale. That's on the sellers. But right, helping them move in that direction. We're going to put a sign in the yard. We may even do some promotion on it. We may even host some open houses for it. But it's a lot different than jumping in our car, right, Anastasia, and driving to Manteca 4 or 5 times. Right?
Right.
The time that you spend in your car driving from house to house to house is always going to take more than putting a listing in the contract and getting it closed. I promise you. So that's why you should always be listing focused. That doesn't mean you should ignore your buyers and not take buyers on. You absolutely should take buyers on, especially as a new agent, as you're gaining business. As you move further along in your business, you may want to cross that bridge of potentially building a team where you're in charge of the listings. You've got somebody else that's maybe a showing assistant or a buyer's agent actually showing those properties for you and putting those buyers in the contract, right? Leverage your time. So number 1 lead gen leg is always, your leg of lead gen is always going to be your existing database. Your second is going to be leads from listings. People are going to call you from those sign calls. You're going to get potential, leads from hosting open houses, door knocking around your listings, maybe circle dialing from those listings, advertising it on social media. You're generating additional leads. Let me try that again. Lead generations number 3 through 5, right? Your legs of lead gen number 3 through 5 are going to be your choice. Okay. And it could be different for everyone. There is not a wrong or right answer. If you're like, Amy, what should I be doing? And I'd be like, here's your list. Pick your poison, right? There's no wrong or right way to lead gen. If you call on 100 different agents, they've all built their businesses on different ways of lead generation. So here are a few of those lead generation methods. You've got social media, expired listings, for sale by owners, YouTube, right? We just hosted that training about generating leads through YouTube, events, open houses, business to business, direct mail, referrals, networking groups, community groups, frequent area of repetitive marketing, right? Your farm, investors, cold calling, sponsorships. You could buy leads from third-party vendors like Zillow or Realtor.com. You can advertise on park benches, bus stops, grocery carts, host webinars, seminars, like first-time homebuyer seminars, moving up, downsizing, right? Attorney connections like probate, divorce, bankruptcy, builder connections, bank referrals, door-to-door, right? Ads, booths at events, teaching and speaking activities. So there's no one wrong or right way to lead generate. You just want to do it. You may be like, Amy, my form of lead generation is I go to Home Depot every day and I stand back there in that construction aisle and I talk to people about what kind of projects they're doing. Do they have a house? Are they renters, right? And then I talk to them about the fact that instead of adding an addition, they should be buying a house that already has that addition. Or instead of fixing up somebody else's property, they should be fixing up their own, right? That could be your method of lead gen, Home Depot, who knows? So, right, so 5 legs of lead gen. Again, once is your database, 2 is leads from listings, and then you're going to pick 3 additional methods of lead generation. Okay. When we pick those 3 methods of lead generation, so maybe you're thinking, well, gosh, I'm going to do a farm, I'm going to do open houses, and I'm going to do social media. Maybe that's your 3, 4, and 5, right? Farm, open houses, social media. You're going to pick which one you're going to focus on the most. Okay. And I would be, if it were me and I was a new agent, I'd be like, I'm going to do open houses. And trust me, I'm scared of people. I don't like people, but I will suck it up and host open houses all day long with the intention of walking away from 1 solid lead per open house that I host. I'm going to perfect open houses before spending much time on my farm or on social media. Now, I'm still going to be posting on social media, throwing some posts out there, but maybe not spending as much time as I would. That was going to be my number 3 lead gen. Same thing. I'm going to be like maybe walking my farm once a month, but I'm not really going to spend time on it like I would on open houses, because I've already determined that open houses is going to be my primary number 3 source of lead gen, which means I'm going to perfect my open house system and process before I create a system and process for the other 2 methods. And then I'm going to be consistent in that. So, right, we're going to perfect number 3 before spending a lot of time on number 4 and 5. Create those systems and processes. Please put them in writing. Write them down. Know that when I have an open house this weekend, here is my system that I'm going to do. Or here's when I've got a farm, here's what I do on a monthly basis. Or if I'm going to do social media as my primary lead gen method, here are the systems and processes I'm using for social media. That way you can stay on track, you can be accountable to your plan, and it's scalable. As your business begins to grow and you hire admins and other things to help you handle your business, it's really easy to hand off a written system and process to somebody else and say, duplicate, right? Just do this. Okay, so that's why we have systems and processes. Number 1, so that it's consistent. We don't have to like sit down on Mondays and be like, man, I got an open house this weekend. What was it? I had a really successful open house a couple weeks ago. What was it that I did that made it so successful? Gosh, sure wish I would have written that down at the time so that I knew what I had done that really led to success, right? So write them down, have a system and process. So on Monday, when we sit down, we know, hey, on Monday, we do this. On Tuesday, we do this. On Wednesday, this. Thursday, this. Friday, this, right? So we'll have those steps in place so that we know what we should be doing each and every day. And again, it's duplicatable. We bring a buyer's agent onto our team. We can go like, here's how you have successful open houses. That's our goal. And your goal is consistency. Once you have those systems and processes in place, you are consistently executing those systems and processes. Then we're going to move on and focus in on lead gen method number 4 and 5 that you've chosen. Well, technically, we're just going to move on to number 4. We're still running number 3. We're still hosting those open houses on a consistent basis, but our system and process is in place. We're consistent. So it's just like second nature. Now we're going to be like, okay, well, now I'm really going to focus in on my farm. What do I want to do for my farm this year, right? How often am I going to door knock? How often am I going to stick things in the mailboxes? Not stick things, you're going to mail them because that would be a federal offense to actually stick them in their mailbox. So how often am I going to mail things? How often am I going to do events in my farm? What events, right? So we're going to start creating those systems and processes around your farm. Once we've created those systems and processes, we're consistent in our farm, then we would move on to lead gen method number 5, which in my example would be social media. Then I'm going to start creating systems and processes around what lead generation on social media might look like. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. We don't want to, if we get started and we're like, oh, I'm going to try farms and open houses and social media, and I'm going to cold call, and I'm going to go host events, and I'm going to do, right? Then we get overwhelmed and we end up with like paralysis because we're so overwhelmed that we actually don't execute anything. So this is why I always say, hey, focus on your database. Then focus on, as you have listings, we're going to generate leads from those listings, and then focus on number 3, create systems and processes, perfect it, be consistent, then move on to number 4, do the same thing again, and then do number 5. It keeps you from being overwhelmed. And then at any time, if you're like, man, I've got my database going, I've got leads from listings, I've got open houses, and I'm starting to dabble in my farm, and man, I'm starting to feel overwhelmed and like whatever, we're not moving on yet. We can just pause there and continue to work the systems and processes that we have in place until we feel like we have more time or more brain capacity to take on more things. Okay. The next step is, right, so we're going to lead generate. We're going to put those people into our funnel. So we're hosting open houses. We're getting people passing through our funnel. Those are our leads. We're putting them into that funnel or that lead gen model. And now our goal is to move those from captured to connected. Okay, so through systematic connections, we're going to move them through those funnels and get them from captured to connected. So your goal with all new leads that come into your funnel is what we call an 8x8. We're going to go into these more here in just a minute, more details, but it's 8 touches in 8 weeks. If they're still not responding to us, then we're going to move them from our 8x8 to our 19 to connect. And if they start responding to us, then we're going to move them to what we call a 36 to convert. So our goal with the 8x8 and the 19 is to get them responding to us. Okay, goal is to get a response. I throw everybody into the lead gen. Even if they pass through the open house and they said they had an agent, that agent might abandon them at some point. They're going into my lead gen funnel. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk about it a little further. Connected to convert. So, right. So I said we go 8x8 and then the 19 to connect with the goal of getting response. And then once we get a response at any time during that process, once they start responding to us, we also have systematic connections to move them from once they start responding. So once we're connected, we're going to move them to converted with the goal of creating transactions. And that's that 36 to convert. So initially our goal is to get them from captured to connected, and then we want to move them from connected to converted into clients. Okay. So you want to create a follow-up system. I'm going to go more into detail on that 8x8, the 19 and the 36 here in a minute. We want to create a follow-up plan or a follow-up system. If ideally your CRM or your contact relationship manager will allow you to automate that system so that every day when you walk in and you sit down and open your computer, it pops up with, here's your 5 people you need to connect with today. If you've got emails that are supposed to go out, it'll automatically send those emails out to you. And if your CRM is really amazing, it'll send out those text messages too. So as we start talking about what touches we're going to do, your CRM is going to automate and handle those things for you for the most part, and then tell you who to connect with. Our goal is creating a scalable business. And if you start at the beginning with scalable, you're like, Amy, I just want like 2 or 3 transactions and I'd be happy. But my goal is to take you from 2 to 3 transactions to 30 transactions, where now you've got to bring on additional help and support to help move you along and give you what you need in your business. And so we want to create a scalable business plan, something that doesn't need you to run it on a daily basis. So that's why we talk about using your CRM to automate and creating a follow-up system. So all new leads do what we call an 8x8. And just so you know too, like if I captured an open house lead before I put them on this 8x8 campaign, I'd probably put them on like a 5-5 campaign, where like every day they're getting something from me for that first week. Okay, so if it was an open house lead, it may be like the day of the open house or the day after the open house, they're getting a thank you text message from me. Ideally, probably a video in front of the primary feature of that home, whether it's a good feature or a bad feature, but something that's going to help remind them which house you hosted open. And I'm going to just send a little thank you video. Hey, thank you so much for passing through my open house this weekend at 123 Sample Street. If you have any questions about this house or any other homes on the market, I would be happy to help answer those questions for you. Please feel free to reach out at any time, right? Video chat, send it on its way. Now they've gotten a video message from me on day 1. Day 2, I'm going to go into my CRM or whatever I'm using for property searches, and I'm going to set them up on a property search. If I had an in-depth conversation with them at that open house, then I kind of know what they're looking for already. I'm going to set up something based on that conversation. If not, I'm just going to set up kind of a generic search in the area of wherever that open house was hosted. Okay. They're probably going to get a phone call from me that day, right? Hey, how's it going? If they don't answer, I'm going to leave a message. This is Amy. I hosted the open house this weekend that you passed through. I just want to let you know, I set you up on a property search. You should get an email with the potential properties that are available. Let me know if you want any changes, right? If I still haven't heard from them, I didn't connect with them on the phone, then day 3, they're probably getting another text message from me. Hey, it's Amy. I set you up with a property search, properties in Vacaville up to 550,000. If you want me to tweak that number of bedrooms and bathrooms, expand the search area, expand the price range, just let me know and I'll update that for you. That way you can get all the new houses as they come on the market delivered to you immediately, right? So I'm going to shoot them a text message with that. My goal is to get a response. So I'm saying, hey, let me know what you want me to change, right? Day 4, I may go in there and say, hey, did you see that new property that just popped up on the market? It was similar to the open house that I hosted. If you want to see it, let me know. Right? Or if you want that address, message me back. Maybe we don't give them the address. Right? So it's just something. We're trying to solicit a response. Day 5, I'm probably going to call them again. Hey, it's Amy again, just trying to reach you to see if I can be of any assistance to you in your home buying journey. Let me know if you have any questions, right? And then I'm going to move them to that 8x8. So that first week, they're getting a call from me for those first 5 days. Then I'm going to move them to the 8x8. The 8x8 is 8 attempts at connections over 8 weeks. It's going to be a variety of email, text messages, and phone calls. Our goal is with each interaction that there is a call to action, something that's going to get them to respond to us. If and when they respond, we're going to move them over to that 36 to convert plan, which we'll go over here in a minute. And if they don't respond during that first 8 weeks, we're not going to cross them off our list and count them as dead. We're going to move them over to our 19 to connect plan, which we're going to go over as well. Any questions about the 8x8 plan? If there's somebody that you set up on a property search, they're going to get those new properties. That's just a bonus touch. I'm still going to make 8 specific attempts over 8 weeks. Hopefully your CRM will allow you to set it up. And it would probably be something like, an email, text message, phone call, and then email, text message, phone call, and then email, text message. The 3rd week I would probably, I'd probably do something like email, text message, phone call. That's 3 weeks. Email, text message, phone call. That's 4, 5, and 6. And then I'd probably go text message, phone call for 7 and 8. And then I would move them over to the 19 to connect. Okay. So something in place. You could even draw out the scripts of what you're going to utilize on those phone calls or those text messages. Like I said, if your CRM is really amazing, you can send out those text messages automatically and the emails automatically. You can already draft those up for them. And then all you're doing is you're just having to call these people 3 times in 8 weeks. And that CRM should be sending you a reminder of, hey, you need to connect with Anastasia today. Right? And it can even have that voicemail script on there. So you want to set it up. Okay, so that's going to be your 8x8. So we're going to go to that with all our new leads that get dumped into the funnel. If we don't have a more intensive connection plan at the very beginning, once they're off that, or as soon as they go in our funnel, we're going to put this on the 8x8 campaign. Then we're going to move it to a 19 to connect. So remember, anybody who doesn't respond on the 8x8, they're not responding to our emails, they're not responding to our text messages, they haven't answered a phone call, we're going to move them to a 19 to connect. Our goal is to move them from, again, connected to captured. And if you see on there, it says 19 plus, because our goal is at least a minimum of 19 attempts at connections each year. What that's going to look like is at the very least, you're going to do 4 quarterly phone calls, 1 per quarter. So 1 in January, February, March, 1 in April, May, June, 1 in July, August, September, and 1 phone call, the final phone call of the year, sometime within October, November, December, right? So 4 phone calls a year. they're going to get 12 emails per year. So ideally, you'd have some sort of valuable information going out in an email that they would get on a monthly basis. It might be like a newsletter. It might be tips for home ownership. It might be a blog about something that you should be doing. It could be, you know, the possibilities are endless there. It might be local activities and events, right? So it might be something fun like that. Here's the Fiesta Days schedule, right? Something fun that they're going to find value in and they're going to want to open is our goal with those emails. Not just hope you're having a great day. Okay. So something fun in there. And I would probably encourage you on those emails that go out, whether it's a newsletter or whatever, like, hey, if you want to see homes on the market or current homes for sale right now, you know, click below. And you might have a different email campaign that goes out to potential buyers versus potential sellers, or you know, like renters, right? So for somebody who you know doesn't own homes, so those non-owner occupied homes in your farm that you've had conversations with, or that you were able to capture their email information, or even you're mailing it to them, it might be like steps to take to become a homeowner versus somebody you know who already owns a home. It might be tips about maintaining your home, or it might be tips on why now might be a good time to sell, right? So something. So they're going to get 12 emails, one per month from you. Again, hopefully your CRM or your contact relationship manager allows you to automate those. And then you're going to invite them to one event per year is the goal. And you're like, Amy, an event? That sounds scary. It is scary, especially if you don't like people like me, but it's going to be okay. You're going to survive, I promise. So do some sort of event, and it doesn't have to be all at the same time. Maybe you're hosting National Night Out. You can invite them to that. Maybe you're going to rent out a theater or the bowling alley. You can invite them to that, right? Our goal is to provide benefits. Maybe you have a farm and you're hosting an annual garage sale in your farm. You could invite your people to that garage sale, right? So it doesn't have to be that scary. We just want to invite them to an event. Ideally, with that event, it would require RSVPing, because our goal is to, again, get them to start responding to us. And we want to either be able to say, hey, so sorry you couldn't make the event, or hey, thanks for coming. So we want to make sure that we have them RSVP to whatever the event is. And then our goal is that we're going to put 2 things in the mail to them on an annual basis. Once every 6 months, they get a mailing. And again, that could be like a recipe card. It could be like, here are the local events coming up for summer. It could be like a little pin with your name on it. It could be a magnetic calendar for the refrigerator, but something in the mail from you. As soon as they begin responding to us, we're going to move them over to a 36 to convert. If they don't ever respond to us, we are not stopping. We just repeat this 19 to connect year after year after year. Okay, so somebody who's not responding to you always goes on this 19 to connect and stays on it forever. Okay, our goal is that those people that are responding to us, we're going to spend more time with them. See, it's a 36 to convert into clients once they're responding to us. We have more interactions with them on an annual basis. We're spending more time, energy, and effort on them than we are somebody who's not responding to us. Those people who aren't responding, we're still communicating them and reaching out to them and encouraging them to connect with us, but we're not going to spend as much time. Does anybody have any questions about the 19 to connect? All right. So moving from the 19 to connect to a 36 to convert. So at any time from the time that lead is captured and goes into the funnel, when they start responding to us, we're going to move them to the 36 plus to convert, with the goal is to move them into our clients. Okay, so that's the goal here. Those people who are already in your telephone, right? They're your database, your contacts in your telephone, your contacts on your social media, those can go straight into a 36 to convert, right? So if those people already know us, love us, trust us, they bypass the 8x8, they bypass the 19 to connect, they're going straight into a 36 to convert. Our goal here is at least 36 attempts at connections each year. Okay, a minimum of 36. We're going to do those same 4 phone calls that we were doing on the 19, 1 per quarter. Everybody gets a phone call once per quarter that's in our database. We're going to bump their emails to 2 per month. Okay, so they're probably going to get the same newsletter that you're sending that 19 to connect. There's no sense in like duplicating the process or reinventing the wheel. We can just duplicate it. Okay, we can just repeat it. So 12 of those 24 emails are going to be whatever you're sending that 19. These people are also getting. Okay, in addition to that, I would recommend putting them on like a market update email. You can do that through Real Scout. It allows you to go in there and kind of pinpoint their neighborhood inside of Real Scout. And then once a month, they're going to get an email that says, hey, here's what's going on in your specific neighborhood. Okay, something that's going to keep them up to date of what homes are for sale, what's sold, what's pending, kind of what's going on. That's what I would recommend as that second email per month. And if your newsletter goes out on the first of the month, I would have that email go out closer to the middle of the month, right? That way it's spreading it out. So basically almost every 2 weeks, they're getting an email from you on the 1st and the 15th or the 15th and the 30th or whatever that might be, they're hearing from you. Okay, so 2 emails per month. We're going to increase it where they get invited to 2 events per year. Again, it could be like a national night out. It could be a shred event. Anastasia is doubling up. She's got events going in her farm. And then she's also inviting all of her database to those events as well. So you can duplicate that with other things that are going on. You may be like, hey, the office hosts a fun gathering during the summer when there's their concerts in the square and they invite we can go join them. Maybe we're inviting 5 or 6 people from our database to join us there on a weekly basis, right? So it doesn't have to be like the whole database at the same time. We can break it down in chunks. We can be like, here's our January people, here's our February people, here's what we're inviting them to. You may just enjoy going and hanging out at happy hour on Friday afternoon. Invite people to happy hour with you. That's a great place to connect and get caught up and just build relationship, which is the goal with the events. Build relationships. You could rent out a theater. You can invite them there. So whatever it is. And just keep in mind too, with events, you can always co-sponsor events with other affiliates, with your home warranty company, with your natural hazard disclosure company, with your lender. You can co-sponsor those events to help take some of the cost off if it's something that's going to cost you money. But it is really easy to do some events that aren't going to cost you a whole lot. Okay, I think Shannon and I one time we rented out the gymnastics area there, the community gymnastics area, and it was fairly cheap to do. And then we brought in like some Sundays or something, so everybody could fix Sundays. Everybody's kids ran wild on gymnastics. We got a chance to touch base with all the adults. It was super fun. Okay, instead of 2 mailed items, we're going to send 4 mailed items or pop buys. Okay, so they can either go in the mail or on their doorstep. A pop by would be on their doorstep. It might be something like, gosh, I don't even think I have any. And if I did, I wouldn't know where they were anyways, because my office is in disarray. But we did pumpkins. Oh, we did pumpkins in the fall, little baking pumpkins. Tied a little tag to them, dropped them off on people's doorsteps, and just said, we're so grateful to have you as our clients, right? Something like that. So something fun that you can drop off on their doorstep. Again, doesn't have to be super expensive. We went and talked to somebody and got those little baking pumpkins down to like $1 a piece or something, dropped off 100 of them. So it wasn't super expensive. We made the tags ourselves, tied them on ourselves. We did one year, we went to the dollar store and got a whole bunch of rolls of wrapping paper. And then in December, we dropped off wrapping paper. Just thanks for helping us wrap up a great year. And then we dropped that off around Christmas time. I thought it was a really stupid pop by, but it was amazing as I knocked on people's doors. Number one, the whole goal is connecting and building that relationship. So it doesn't matter how stupid it is. So I did it anyways. And then it was amazing the number of people that answered the door like, oh my gosh. And I did procrastinate a little bit. So I was doing this like the week of Christmas or the week before Christmas. Procrastination happens to all of us. Put it on your calendar so you don't procrastinate. But people opened the door and they were like, oh my gosh, you just saved me a trip to the store. I just ran out of wrapping paper. Like that happened over and over and over again. So that was super fun. So something either in the mail or pop buys where you're dropping off on their doorstep. To do pop buys once a quarter, super easy. Again, you don't have to do it all on one day. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I've got 400 people in my database and I got to drop something off on their doorstep every single day. No, number one, these are only the people that only know us, love us, and trust us that we're doing these pop buys for. And you could spread it out so that you've got 3 months in a quarter and then 4 weeks in each of those months. So you could take it and divide it into 12 weeks. And in this week, I do these 5, and the next week I do that 5, right? So you could have it totally broken down. And at the beginning of your week, your CRM is going to say, here's your pop buys this week. Okay. So make it super simple. In addition to those pop buys or mailed items, and mailed items might be something like a magnet to stick on their calendar, a pin that's got your logo on it, whatever it might be. You also want to send out 2 cards. So it might be a happy birthday card. It might be a happy anniversary card, maybe a happy home anniversary card. It could be happy Labor Day card, whatever that is. Send out a couple of cards year. Again, I think usually birthdays and home anniversaries are great ways to connect with people. And you could always step up your game and do more than that. Again, you could do 2 pop buys a year and then 2 additional cards in the mail, because it doesn't say, mailed items doesn't have to be like a magnet. It could be additional cards. So you could up your holiday game. I don't like Christmas cards only because as a business, because everybody sends out Christmas cards and they get lost with the shuffle of all the other Christmas cards. So I like to pick other random holidays where it's going to stand out a little bit more. I'm a little leery of like the Mother's and Father's Day cards, because then you're inevitably leaving people out, or if there's, anyways, it can be a really sad time. So I try to keep it to other holidays. Yes, Anastasia?
What about, do you do, after the sale is closed, do you do like 6 months, congratulations, you've been in your home for 6 months, or do you send them like an ornament for their first Christmas? Do you do stuff like that too, or no? Is that too much?
No, so this would be just everybody in your database gets these 36 to convert back to clients again. But absolutely, if I've got a client that closed on a property, number one, we usually do a closing gift, and I usually hold off on delivering that closing gift for like a month after closing. Because we're already in connection, like right after closing. Hey, is everything going well? I've got, follow-ups and touch points that I do. But then like a month after closing, they were really excited. They got their keys at closing. They don't need something else. But then maybe a month later, I'm going to come by and deliver their Cutco knives or whatever it might be at the time that we're doing for closing gifts, and just say, hey, thank you so much. With our closing gifts, when we were doing Cutco, we also have a referral program where they could build their Cutco set. So it was a really good time to introduce that and ask for referrals. Right after closing, probably like within a week of closing, we would make sure to be in contact with them and get them that home warranty information again, right? So we've got touches in place. And then at the end of the year, to answer your question, yes, we do. I don't think I have any handy. I've lost everything, but we do wooden key ornaments that say, first year in our new home with the year on it. And we pass those out at the end of the year to all the clients that bought homes during the year. So absolutely. So those would be additional touches in addition to our 36 to connect, our 36 to convert. Our 36 to convert is truly systematic. They don't get pulled out into a different system because they closed. They just get additional touches if they did close on a property. Any other questions on your 36 to convert? All right. Your calls. Okay. There's ways that you can be systematic in your phone calls. You want to, okay. So you can make it as simple as complicated as you want to. However, I still recommend making it systematic. So no matter how complicated you make it systematic. You can follow a plan. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed by who do I call today, because I haven't started calling anybody yet, you can follow a plan like the DTD2, which is do the database to, right? DTD2, or the 555 plan, which I'll go over here in a minute. The initial phone call that you make, because you may be like, Amy, you told me to put all the contacts in my phone, in my database. And some of these people, it's been a couple of years since I talked to them, or maybe I don't even remember the last time I talked to them, right? Don't make it about business. Just make it an initial check-in. Just like, hey, Brittany, I'm so sorry that I haven't checked in with you sooner. I just wanted to see how things are going. Are you guys doing okay? And, I'm sorry for not touching base, right? So just apologize for not picking up the phone and calling them sooner, and just be like, how are things going? right? That can be the end of phone call number 1 for your first quarter. Next quarter, it's not going to be as awkward because you already talked to them last quarter. Okay. So that first phone call, if you're like, man, that still seems intimidating and I feel like I need a purpose to call them besides just checking in. Hey, Anastasia, this is Amy. We're doing a contest in our office and the person with the most referrals wins. Do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, right? We can make it business that first call, totally okay. You can make it, hey, a contest, I'm trying to win. If they're like, what do you win? You'd be like, I win an extra $20,000, right? I don't know. I mean, you would, right? If you got some referrals and they close business with you. So, or you can be like, gosh, if I win the most referrals, I'm going to win a vacation. I'm going to send myself on vacation. You don't have to tell them you're sending you on vacation, right? But you can make it a contest. So you could do it something like that. I would still open up the phone call with, hey, Anastasia, sorry, it's been so long since I touched base with you, but hey, just real quick, we're doing this contest with our office. Person with the most referrals wins. You know, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Super simple. Easy way to open that conversation. And then again, the second conversation in 3 months becomes a little less awkward. Anytime you call somebody, unless you're doing the contest one, you want to use that Ford sandwich. So family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So again, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We're going to ask them questions pertaining to that. Hey, Abby, this is Amy. I know that last time we talked, you were planning to go on a vacation. I think you guys were getting ready to go camping. Did you guys end up go camping or where did you go? Right? Or I don't remember. We talked about you were going on vacation. Where did you end up going? Right? So, right, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. How are your kids doing? School just started up. Are you guys homeschooling again? Where are they going to school? What grades are they in? Gosh, it's so easy to lose track of how old kids are, right? So we're just going to have that conversation around family, occupation, recreation, dreams. In the middle of it, we can get into the business portion of things. And then we want to close out again with that Ford sandwich. I'll go into that more in detail here in a minute. And then we also want to use that 3-attempt approach is how I like to conduct it, which I'll go over again here in a moment. So here's that DTD2 schedule. If you search this on Google, search DTD2 schedule, you'll pull up some sort of schedule. Here's quarter 1. They've got the numbers. What they've done here is they've grouped the last names by popularity. So they've conducted research and figured out that if in my database, I've got 200 people, the people that have the last name that it start with either A and W are just as likely to have the same number as the people that start with B and E. So that's how they broke this down. So week 1, you call anybody in your database that has an A and W last name. Week 2, it's B and E. Week 3, it's D and O. Week 4, it's H and V. 5 is CK. 6 is FG. 7 is MX. 8 is NR. 9 is SU. 10 is PL. 11 is TJ. 12 is IQ. And 13 is YZ. Okay, so you're going to call. That makes it so you're like not cherry picking who you're calling. You're just like, hey, I got to open up my database and everybody who's A and W is this week. Okay, now if you notice next to that, there's a call column and a text column, which we'll go into more here in just in a moment. But this idea here would be, hey, if we're calling them now, then we're also going to send them a text message. They're actually going to get 2 interactions from us each quarter, 1 phone call, 1 text message. So week 1, we would be calling A and W and we would be texting anybody who starts with an N. What does the text message say? Hey, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing well, right? Just something super and simple. Hey, I was showing properties in your neighborhood and I was just wondering how you were doing or what you were up to. Right? Something super simple. Please make sure you don't send that, hey, I was in your neighborhood, to people who don't live in the area where you work. But that one's a nice one because it reminds them that you're in real estate, right? Hey, I was out showing properties in your neighborhood and I was just thinking about you. Passed by your house, right? How are things going? You don't actually have to pass by their house. You can fib just a little bit. Okay, so that's how that would work. So each time we call, they're actually going to get like, the way that this is broken down, I think they're going to get a phone call once a quarter and a text message every 6 months is how this is broken down. So quarter 1 and quarter 2. Okay. Any questions about the D2 schedule? This is one systematic way for reaching out to your database to knock out those phone calls.
What does DTD2 stand for?
Do the database 2. Do
Okay.
the database 2. All right. The other approach that I like personally is the 5-5-5 approach. The reason this was started as the 5-5-5 approach is that the thought process behind it is I'm going to pick up the phone today and I'm going to start at the top of my list and work down that list until I've talked to 5 people, until 5 people have actually answered the phone. Okay, that's why it's called the 5-5-5, because I'm going to call until 5 people answer the phone. Once 5 people answer the phone today, I'm done. Okay, so I kind of like that. It gives me a goal in mind. I'm going to contact 5 people. So the goal is that each day, 5 days a week, you're going to talk to 5 people a day. That's going to be your phone call. We're still going to do that forward approach, or that just initial, like, hey, so sorry it's been so long. How are things going? Like that initial check-in, right? With the 5-5-5. But with the 5-5-5, so you're going to have 25 conversations a day. Okay, so each month you figure 4 weeks in the month, you're talking to 100 people a month. Okay, and then we're just going to keep working through our database and getting those people to answer. Now, the second month, right? So if I talk to Anastasia today, then on October 12th, I would get a reminder to make a social media connection with Anastasia. So month 1 of the quarter is a phone call. Month 2 of the quarter is a social media interaction. I'm going to log into Facebook or Instagram, and I'm going to look at her posts, and I'm going to comment on one of her posts, or send her a direct message, or like a couple things, right? I'm going to systematically interact with her on social media. Month 3, so month 1, I called her. Month 2, on September 11th, 12th, what's the day? September 12th, I called her. October 12th, I messaged her on social media, or interacted with her on social media. And November 12th, now I'm going to send her a text message or a card. You could send a card as well. Or you could, if you don't like social media, you can make your second interaction that card, and then month 3, the text message. And then we're going to rinse and repeat. Okay, so then the next month, right after month 3, then month 4, so that would be December 12th, I'm going to call her again. January 12th, I'm going to interact with her on social media, send out that card. And then February 12th, I'm going to text her, and then I'm going to repeat, right? So every day, how it's the goal and design of it is every day I'm talking to 5 people, I'm interacting with 5 people on social media, and I'm texting 5 people on a daily basis. Okay. The first month, you're just going to have phone calls. Second month, you're going to have phone calls and that social media interaction. And then third month, you're going to be in full swing with the text message, with the phone call, the social media, and the text message. And then from there on, it's just going to repeat. So there's kind of a ramp up period, which is nice, so that you can grow consistent in it. So that's how the 5-5-5 approach works. Again, there's no wrong or right way. You may be like, hey, I kind of like this 5-5-5. And to figure out who I'm calling, I'm going to start with that DDZ2 schedule, right? So, and the goal would be that, hey, I talked to Anastasia today. I'm putting a reminder in to call her in 3 months, right, from now. And I'm setting a reminder to interact with her on social media in a month, and I'm going to send her a card or a text message. So I'm setting that all up in my database as I'm making those connections. Any questions about the 5-5-5 system? Okay. Ford sandwich, we kind of talked about this already, but family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We're going to open that call with Ford, and we're going to close it with recapping the Ford, which makes it your Ford sandwich. Your Ford is the bread, the business is the meat. So we're going to open up having those conversations about how's your family? Are you still working at? What fun things do you have planned for the winter? And what are your goals with real estate? Like, or what are your dreams for the future? You guys think you're going to stay in California forever? Do you think you're going to move at some point? Like what, right? What are your plans? What are your dreams? What are your kids wanting to do after school? Right? Let's have those conversations with them. If they're going to go to college up in Chico, oh, have you thought about picking up an investment property up there that would give them a place to live where you can build equity? Right? Something you could rent to college students in the future, right? Have those conversations with them. And then we're going to recap the end of the phone call after we get into the business portion. You want to bring it back around. Oh my gosh, I really hope you guys have fun on that camping trip. Hope you have fun at Disneyland. Man, I hope work really gets better for you. In fact, I'll check in with you soon and just see how things are going at work. That sounds really rough. or man, I'm so sorry that your mom isn't feeling well. Keep me updated on how she's doing. Right. And then you're going to make yourself a little note that maybe I'm not going to wait 3 months to touch base with this person. Maybe I'm going to text them in like a month and be like, hey, just checking in to see how your mom is going. The goal is building relationships. The goal is caring about people. And by caring about people and building relationships, you're going to sell houses. Okay. So come at it from the right perspective of caring for the people that you're in connection with. Any questions about your Ford sandwich? All right. The 3-attempt approach, right? So initially, our goal is that we're going to call through our database until we get somebody to answer the phone. If you're using the 5-5-5 approach, and then we're going to get 5 people on the phone today, 5 people on the phone tomorrow. But at some point, all those people that you keep calling that aren't responding, we want to have a 3-attempt approach. Or, once I've called Anastasia today and I go to call her in September, October, November. Yeah. December 12th again, which is when her phone call would come up again. She may not answer the phone that week. Okay. And I don't want it to be a lost cause. So then I would move her to that 3-attempt approach. So anybody that I'm having problems getting a hold of, or anybody that I touched once and now they're on my list to touch again this week to interact with a phone call, I go with the 3-attempt approach here. So I'm going to make 3 phone calls each week before moving on, which means that if Anastasia's on my list this week, I'm going to call her once. And if she doesn't answer, I'm going to leave a message. Hey, it's Amy with Realty One Group, right? Maybe, hey, Anastasia, it's Amy with Realty One Group. I was just wanting to check in with you. I'll try you later this week, right? Hey, I'll touch base with you later this week. Call number 2. So that might be Monday. Monday, I look at my list for the whole week. Maybe I call through everybody on the list. Call 2, right? We're only having, once we get through the initial, it's just 25 people a week. So we could call all those people on Monday. Call number 2 is if they don't answer, we're going to send a text message. Hey, I was just checking in. I hope you're having a great day. I'll try you again later this week, right? So now they've gotten a phone message from me saying, hey, I'll try you later. I tried them again. They didn't answer. Now they've gotten a text message like, hey, Amy's really bothering me. I should probably answer her when she calls me again. So call number 3. So it's usually like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it could be like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, however you want to structure it. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, totally up to you. But 3 phone calls. The 3rd phone call, if Anastasia is still rude and she doesn't answer my phone call by then, I'm going to leave a message and send her a text message. So, hey, Anastasia, it's Amy. Sorry we weren't able to connect this week. I hope you're doing well. If you need anything real estate related or not, please don't hesitate to reach out, right? So, right. And then have a great day. That's how you're going to end it, right? Just leave our message like, hey, if you need anything real estate related or not real estate related, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day. And then I'm also going to follow up with that text message. I hope you're having a great day. If you need anything real estate related or not real estate related, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll connect next time, right? Letting her off the hook. I'm still going to call her again then 3 months from now. Okay. Any questions about that 3-attempt approach?
No, ma'am.
Fabulous. That is the end. So that is right. So we want to continually feed our lead funnel. We want to identify those 3 additional legs of lead gen. We're going to put them on that 8x8 that's going to roll into a 19+ to connect, right? And then once we've connected with them, once they're responding, we move them to the 36 to convert. And here's how I would systematically approach all of those phone calls with either the DTT2 or the 5-5-5 or a combination of those, and then move it to a 3-attempt approach for those that are hard to get a hold of or not answering their phones. Any questions, thoughts, ahas? Nothing. Crickets. All right. Please make sure to log your attendance. It's in the chat box. You can grab that link to log your attendance. If there's any trainings you'd like to see in the future, there's a little spot where you can make suggestions on trainings in there. So make those suggestions and we'll make sure to get them on the calendar. And thank you so much for joining us for our kickoff of our training series. I really appreciate it, of the fall training series.
We don't have any questions because you're always so thorough that you just answer everything for us.
Exactly.
Right, Brittany?
Yep, exactly.
See?
Fabulous. Tell the other agents to join us. There is no class tomorrow because it should be the office meeting tomorrow, although I haven't heard anything about it, but I also haven't been on
Yes,
Slack.
ma'am.
Why? So
Yes,
office
ma'am.
meeting should be tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Thursday. We are covering some forms on Thursday. We're keeping with that theme of forms on Thursday. And I don't remember what we're covering. So you just have to tune in Thursday. So tomorrow office, Thursday at 9 for forms. See you all then.
Have a great day.
Thank
Thank you.
you.